because we just seen it.
You saw it. What clues did you use to figure out what we were going to read about?
The frogs.
The frogs? Go ahead. You can stand up. With it just being us, we can do that. So what, the picture, the words, what helped you know we were going to talk about tadpoles today?
Frogs life cycle.
Wow, look at all that word reading you're doing. Frogs life cycle. Do you know this word? Diagram.
Diagram.
Do you know what a diagram is? Okay, this is a diagram. It's a visual that shows us how something happens, except you know what? I didn't fill in all the parts of this diagram. So maybe we'll have time to fill it in together, or you can do it when I'm gone, okay? Okay. All right, so we're gonna learn about the frog life cycle. Have you been studying life cycles in your class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we studied them here before, and we know about the frog's life cycle.
And you studied butterflies and do you remember what that gigantic word was? It starts with the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. And Mrs. Bush realizes that she doesn't have that word on here, so we're going to have to add it somewhere. We'll have to look at that. But, all right, so we're going to learn about frog life cycles today, and I think you have a lot of background knowledge. So I'm going to read it through once and have you track with me, and then we're going to read it together.
You want this?
We didn't use that.
Yeah, we're going to use this. So I'm going to read the first time. And you know what I always forget to do, so really, really watch me. What do you think I forget to read?
Frog's life cycle.
The title. The title. Is the title important when we're reading nonfiction? Yes. Oh yeah, because it helps us get our mind ready. Frog's life cycle diagram. And I heard you guys making lots of predictions based on what you already knew. Did you hear yourself doing that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tadpoles hatch from tiny eggs that are laid in masses in the water. The gill-breathing tadpoles swim in the water. It eventually sprouts. Oh, you know what? I miscued. Do you know what that means? I made a mistake. And then I heard it, and I caught it, because look right here. Gill-breathing I said poles. Does it say tadpoles? No, it just says tadpole, one, right? Swims in the water. Let me reread that whole sentence. The gill-breathing tadpole swims in the water. It eventually sprouts legs and absorbs its tail, becoming a froglet and then an adult. The adult breathes air and has no tail. After the female lays eggs, the cycle begins again. Did you know all of those words in there? Did you know what they all meant?
Yep.
Okay. So, what does it mean to be gill breathing? See this compound word right here?
Breathe from your gills.
Good job. How did you know that?
That means you can breathe underwater.
Waiting. How did you know that? How did you know that gill breathing with the hyphen in it meant you breathe through your gills? You used your background knowledge. What other animal has gills?
Fish.
Fish.
Wait,
and that's how. Well, whales are mammals, aren't they? Don't they have to breathe air? So fish breathe. They're able to use their gills to get the oxygen their blood needs, right? Mm-hmm. Different than us. Can we do that?
No.
Good. Good background knowledge. Did you know what sprouts means? Let's look at this. It eventually sprouts legs and absorbs its tail.
Oh, what turns into a little tadpole, and after 1 year, it has like little hands.
Yeah, it sprouts legs. Sprouts. What does it mean to sprout?
That means they're growing legs.
They come out like seed sprout. It's going to sprout legs. And right here is the illustration helping you with that. Great. And what absorbs? Absorbs. Can you clarify that word? Absorbs? It absorbs its tail.
Well, like it grows, then it like goes back, like so it can ride.
Okay. Let's even look at this. Look at how when it's a tadpole, it has this big fin-like tail, right? And then as it gets to be a gill-breathing tadpole, its legs are coming out. Does the frog have that kind of tail?
No.
No, so absorb means it soaks up its tail or its tail disappears.
Oh, like it grows up.
It
Grow.
it must just become part of its body.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the word absorb makes me think of like a sponge absorbs water, it sucks it up. So I am inferring that it means that the body just takes the tail and it becomes part of it. I don't think it like falls off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And then it's breathe air. Okay, I think we have all the words clarified. Good job. Let's work together. So your job is to read with me, and we're going to read it for fluency. So we're going to try to do the best we can. And this is our first read, so it's kind of like a cold read. So we just have to try to focus, okay? Let's start. Should we start with the title?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be important. Ready?
Frog.
Begin.
Frog's
Frog's life cycle diagram. Tadpoles hatch from tiny eggs that are laid in masses in the water. Should we try that again? Tadpoles hatch from tiny eggs that are laid in masses in the water. That's a hard word, isn't it? Masses. We didn't clarify that. What, do you know what masses is?
No.
Masses.
It's a big clump. So when frogs lay their eggs, they lay them in big clumps together.
Oh, like a big circle.
Kind of like a circle or like a big batch.
Or
Yeah.
a big ball.
Kind of like a ball, yeah. So if we look at that, tadpoles hatch from tiny eggs that are laid in masses in the water. Does that help you with that sentence? Can you see the big chunk, big egg things floating in the water?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, then should we go ready for this sentence?
Yes.
Okay. The gill-breathing tadpole swims in the water. It eventually sprouts legs and absorbs its tail, becoming a froglet and then an adult. The adult breathes air and has no tail. After the female lays eggs and the cycle begins again. Mrs. Bush needs to make a revision in that. After that would make better sense. Mrs. Bush adapted this from a paragraph and she took out a word. And so, because she didn't want to clarify it. So, that's why it's a little rough, but we could fix it, couldn't we? All right, now,
Okay, you said tadpoles.
did I say it wrong again?
We
Yeah.
all did though.
Oh,
Yeah.
will you track for us? Where are we going to start, though, if we start on the sentence, at the beginning of the
Right here.
sentence?
Yeah.
Is that the beginning of the sentence?
No, right here.
How did you know that?
Because we started by the.
And
Start
what does
on-
the sentence start with?
A capital.
A capital. So are you who's going to track this time? You're going to track for us?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to use your finger or the pointer.
The pointer.
Okay, don't poke anybody's eye out.
Okay.
And then say ready, begin.
Okay,
The-
ready, begin.
The
gill-breathing tadpole swims in the water.
It
It
eventually sprouts legs and absorbs its tail, becoming a froglet and then an adult. The adult breathes air and has no tail. And we're going to stop there so we can revise that. Can you read and track at the same time? I didn't hear your voice.
I was like,
Was it kind of hard?
yeah.
Yeah, because you're still practicing it. This word eventually, it looks really funny. And part of it's because there's a seam right there. So that's another word we can work on. Now, there's something in this